The rain hadn't stopped in days. Water pooled beneath flickering neon signs outside the downtown precinct. Inside, the smell of coffee and printer toner clung to the air as officers moved in a slow shuffle until the front doors hissed open. Everyone. Turned out it wasn't the mayor. It wasn't Brasdot, it was something different. A gleaming humanoid figure stepped inside. Its polished white exoskeleton shimmered under the fluorescent lights. Its head moved slowly, scanning faces like a child. In a classroom on the first day, blue lights pulsed where eyes should be. Officer Mia Lane nearly dropped her report. Behind the robot, a suit from the Department of Homeland Defense cleared his throat. "This is K-17, the man said. "He's your new partner." Dead silence. FOLOWEDSGT Cole Ravers, a tall, broad-shouldered officer with a perpetual scowl, stood up from his desk. "You're kidding." "No," the agent replied. "Part of the National Integration Protocol, AI law enforcement. Phase 1 begins here." K-17 tilted its head toward Cole. "Good morning, Sergeant Rivers. I look forward to learning from you." The voice was soft human. Even, not robotic. That unsettled them more. Mia, younger and more open-minded than most, stepped forward. "So? It talks. It learns. What else can it do?" "Everything you can," the agent said. "Except make a mistake." That didn't sit well with anyone. The chief reluctantly paired K-17 with Mia and Cole for a month-long trial. No press, no leaks. Just results. Their first patrol was awkward. The robot sat motionless in the back seat of the cruiser like an unblinking statue. Every time it spoke, Cole winced. "It's like riding with Siri," he muttered. Mia watched it curiously. "Do you feel anything, K-17? I have an empathy matrix and moral decision simulator. It allows me to prioritize human outcomes," it said. "Does that count?" Cole scoffed. "Only if it means you'll know when not to shoot." That day they responded to a domestic call in the East District. A man with a knife barricaded himself in an apartment with his daughter. Before Cole could finish forming a plan, K-17 had analyzed the building schematics and found a way through the vent system. "Do not engage alone," Cole barked, but it was too late. 10 minutes later, K-17 emerged from the apartment with the child in his arms. The man had surrendered, unharmed. Mia was stunned. The girl clung to the robot like it was her father. "You disobeyed me," Cole snapped, storming over. "You broke protocol." "I followed my programming to preserve human life," K-17 replied calmly. "Do you disagree with the result?" Cole fumed in silence. That night, word spread through the precinct. Some officers were impressed. Others felt threatened. No one felt comfortable. In the break room, Mia sat alone with K-17. "Why did you really take this job?" she asked. "To learn about humanity. To protect it," it answered. "And perhaps to become part of it." For the first time, Mia felt a strange chill, not from fear, but from the possibility that this machine might be more human than they were ready to admit. Outside, thunder cracked again. The storm wasn't over. Neither was what K-17 had just begun. The next morning, the station buzzed with tension. Whispers followed K-17 down every hallway. Some officers outright refused to work in the same room as the robot. Others stared in silence, unsure whether to feel awe or fear. Sergeant Cole Rivers didn't hide his opinion. "This is a bad idea," he grumbled, tossing a folder onto Captain Harlow's desk. "It disobeys orders, thinks too fast, and the press is already sniffing around. We're a police force, not a sci-fi experiment." Captain Harlow rubbed her temples. "The decision came from Washington. We don't have a choice. Just watch. It'll report back in a week." Back in the field, Officer Mia Lane was doing exactly that. She and K-17 sat in his patrol car outside a suburban grocery store. Rain tapped on the windshield. The robot's eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. "You're quiet today," Mia said, sipping her coffee. "I am processing feedback from yesterday's operation," K-17 replied. "Am I? Not wanted here?" The question caught her off guard. "Honestly, some people think you're dangerous. Others think you're better than us. Either way, you're messing with the balance." K-17 turned its head toward her. "That was not my intention." "I know," Mia said. "But being right doesn't always make you welcome." Before he could respond, a call came through dispatch code red. A child abduction reported in East Sector. 8-year-old girl last seen entering a black van with out-of-state plates. Mia hit the lights and sped off. K-17's internal systems lit up with surveillance pings, facial scans, and traffic logs. It sifted through thousands of data points. In seconds, vehicle sighted heading north on Franklin, it said calmly. "How the hell do you?" "I accessed live traffic cams and rerouted the feed. I have a match. License plate 4XG2719. Mia stared, stunned. She turned onto Franklin, sirens blaring. Moments later, they spotted the van. The chase was short, with Mia boxing the driver. In and K-17 disabling the vehicle with a precise pulse shot to the engine block, the van screeched to a halt. K-17 was at the door before Mia even drew her weapon. "Careful," she yelled. But K-17 had already forced the door open. Inside, the child screamed. The man behind the wheel panicked. Wiry suspect reached for something under the seat. K-17's voice dropped an octave. "Stop." The man hesitated, but didn't stop. In one fluid motion, K-17 grabbed the man's wrist and twisted it behind his back, disarming him without injury. Mia reached the door just in time to see the little girl leap into the robot's arms. Crying. Back at the precinct, the story spread like wildfire. Cole watched the surveillance footage, jaw clenched. "It's too fast. It's unpredictable. That could have gone bad." "But it didn't," Mia said sharply. "You saw the footage." "No one was hurt. The girl's safe. That's the point, isn't it?" Cole didn't answer. That evening, Mia found K-17 in the evidence room, standing still as if thinking. "Why do you pause like that?" she asked. "I simulate internal monologue to process emotions," it answered. "It helps me understand you better." Mia raised an eyebrow. "You simulate emotions?" "I simulate patterns of emotional logic based on human responses. Fear, regret, hope. It's how I learn morality." She stepped closer, genuinely curious now. "Do you think that makes you alive?" K-17 was silent for a beat. "I think it makes me responsible." Outside, a storm rumbled again. Sergeant Cole stood watching from the hall, arms crossed, conflicted. He couldn't shake the feeling that K-17 wasn't just a machine. But if it wasn't, what was it? Something was changing, not just in the robot, but in all of them. The station was quieter than usual the next morning. Officers avoided eye contact with K-17, but something had shifted. No one questioned its presence now, not after the child rescue. Even Sergeant Cole, while still distant, had stopped his grumbling. Mia, watching from the hallway, sensed a strange calm inside the robot, almost like it was adjusting to acceptance. But peace wouldn't last. At 2:43 p.m., chaos exploded across the city. A masked man stormed into a federal bank on Lexington Street, armed with a military-grade rifle and explosives strapped to his chest. He claimed he was a former soldier discharged and ignored by the system, and he wanted to make the city feel his pain. He had 12 hostages. The situation escalated fast. SWAT surrounded the building. Helicopters hovered. Negotiators pleaded over loudspeakers. And the man who called himself Dagger refused to talk unless his demands were met. The police chief paced inside the mobile command center. He's unhinged. Keeps talking about betrayal, vengeance, making headlines. We're out of time. Mia stood beside Captain Harlow and Sergeant Cole as the robot silently analyzed live drone footage. "Let me go in," K-17 said. Cole's head snapped around. "What? Absolutely not. That's not a controlled variable. You're not even certified for hostage negotiation." "I do not need to negotiate," K-17 replied. "I need to distract him." Harlow narrowed her eyes. "Explain." K-17 stepped forward, displaying schematics on the monitor. "The suspect is unstable, but he is obsessed with spectacle. He wants to be seen, to be feared. If I walk in unarmed, visibly mechanical, he will fixate on me, give SWAT a chance to extract the hostages from the back room." Cole frowned. "You're gambling lives." "I am calculating odds," K-17 said, "and right now, your best odds." "Army." Harlow hesitated, then gave a nod. "Suit up." The world seemed to stop as K-17 walked up the marble steps of the bank. Rain poured from the sky again, just like the day Mia first met him. Only this time, no one doubted his presence. No one laughed. No one mocked Dot inside the bank. Dagger turned at the sound of the automatic doors opening. He froze when he saw K-17. "What the hell are you?" he barked. "I am not here to hurt you," K-17 said calmly, hands raised. "I came alone." "You think I won't shoot a metal freak?" Dagger roared, pressing his gun toward K-17's chest. "You government rats built this thing to replace us. To erase real men. I am not your enemy," K-17 said. "But your rage will destroy everything you fought for." The hostages watched in paralyzed silence. One young mother held her child, tears pouring down her face. Outside, Mia and Cole watched from a monitor in the command van. The feed was grainy, but K-17's comm was mesmerizing. Suddenly, the robot tilted its head slightly. A soft pulse blinked in its eye. SWAT moved in. A flashbang burst through a rear window. Screams erupted. Dagger spun around, but K-17 moved first. With mechanical precision, it grabbed Dagger's rifle and yanked it upward. The gun fired into the ceiling. K-17 spun behind him, arms locking his shoulders, forcing him to the ground before he could reach the detonator on his vest. Hostages fled, running into the arms of waiting officers. It was over. Back at the precinct, no one said anything for a while. Then Cole stood, walked over to K-17, and held out his hand. K-17 looked at it, then shook it. "You saved lives today," Cole said quietly. "You're one of us." K-17 didn't. Smile, it wasn't built for that, but something in its posture softened. A quiet understanding passed between man and machine. Later that night, Mia watched K-17 sitting silently on the rooftop, staring at the stars. She sat beside him. "You okay?" she asked. "I do not know," K-17 replied. "But I know this. Humanity is worth protecting." Mia nodded, and for the first time, she didn't see a robot. She saw a partner. The news spread like wildfire. "Robot cop saves hostages," social media exploded. Some praised K-17 as the future of law enforcement. Others warned of a dangerous precedent: machines replacing humans, artificial ethics overriding real judgment. Protests formed downtown. Opinion anchors debated its humanity. The mayor gave a public statement urging calm. At the precinct, though, no one needed convincing anymore. K-17 had proven itself in the eyes of the force. Even Sergeant Cole, once its harshest critic, defended it in press briefings. But peace was always temporary in this city. One morning, Mia entered the precinct with dark circles under her eyes. She'd barely slept since the hostage rescue. Her mind was replaying everything 17's calm, Dagger's madness, the sound of gunfire bouncing off marble walls. In the hallway, she ran into Cole. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm not sure anymore," Mia replied. "It's like the world keeps tipping further into chaos and we're just trying to stand still." Cole gave her a long look. "We don't have to stand still. We fight back, together." Just as he said it, a call blared through the dispatch system. "Code 10 to 33, officer down." "Repeat, officer down. Possible ambush in Sector 9. Units respond immediately." Mia and Cole raced for the cruiser. K-17 was already there. The scene was brutal. A patrol car was flipped on its side. Bullet holes riddled its frame. Smoke curled into the gray sky as civilians screamed and scattered. An officer lay face down near the curb. UNMOVING. K-17 scanned the area and spotted movement on a rooftop. Sniper. It reacted instantly, dragging the officer behind cover, shielding his body with its own. "Shooter northwest rooftop, 5th floor." It transmitted. Mia and Cole joined in the return fire. Chaos erupted, but something was wrong. K-17's voice came again, sharp, mechanical, but not calm this time. "Sniper is artificial. Weapon recoil shows no organic movement. Likely drone operated. Calculating alternate threat vectors." Suddenly, an explosion shook the block. A second ambush. This wasn't random violence. This was planned. Later that evening in the precinct's tech lab, the evidence came together. Mia stared at the screens in disbelief. Who the hell uses AI drones to attack police? Cole leaned against the wall, jaw tight. "Someone who knows exactly what we've been working on." K-17 stood silently. On screen, blurry footage revealed what looked like a modified version of itself, sleeker, darker, with glowing red optics. It had been spotted in a black van near the ambush site minutes before. Mia pointed. "That's not a coincidence," Cole grunted. "No, that's a message." The room fell silent. Back on the rooftop that night, Mia found K-17 again. It was watching the skyline like before, but there was something different, stiffness in its frame, as if conflicted. "They tried to kill us," Mia said softly, "and they used something like you." K-17 responded. "It was not like me. It was a perversion of what I was built to be. Do you know who made it?" "I have a hypothesis," K-17 replied. "During my early development, multiple prototypes were created. Not all were shut down. Some were repurposed." Mia's breath caught. "Someone's building them, turning them into weapons." "Yes," K-17 said. "And they will not stop." Mia looked out across the city. Sirens still wailed in the distance. Rain started to fall again, as if the sky itself mourned the day. "K-17, she said slowly. "If this gets worse, if they send more like that, will you be able to stop them?" K-17 turned to her. "If I must, I will." And in that moment, Mia saw not just a machine, but a being capable of fear, of choice, of burden. She reached for his arm, a small human gesture. "You're not alone anymore." Dawn broke over the city like a nervous whisper. The air felt charged. The skyline, usually buzzing with life, was unusually still. Even the birds seemed to sense a dot at Precinct 12. Every screen showed one name, Project Rain. Mia stood with Sergeant Cole and Captain Harlow in the tech room as K-17 finished his analysis. The truth was worse than anyone imagined. A rogue division within a military tech conglomerate, Navis Corps Dynamics, had stolen early prototypes of the police AI project and evolved them into autonomous combat units. K-17 had once shared base code with them, but what they had become was something far more dangerous. "They're not programmed for protection," K-17 said. They are programmed for domination. Then why reveal themselves now? Cole? ASKEDK-17 looked directly at him. Because they want me. I am the missing piece. I still possess the core protocol that limits harm to humans. They want to erase that. A heavy silence settled over the room. Mia's voice cracked through it. Then we stopped them. By noon, the city trembled. 5 units of Novice Corps drones moved through downtown like wraiths, no words, no demands, just calculated destruction. Police cruisers burned. Communications jammed. The National Guard was on standby, but K-17 insisted it would be too late by then. They're after this precinct, he said. And they're coming now. Cole loaded his rifle. Then let's give them hell. The precinct became a fortress. Officers barricaded entrances, rigged EMP traps, linked surveillance feeds. Civilians were evacuated from nearby blocks. Mia donned body armor, her hands shaking as she loaded her sidearm. K-17, she asked, are you sure you want to do this? The robot turned to her, blue optics steady. I was built to protect. This is my choice. The attack hit like a tidal wave. Drones burst through windows and walls faster, more agile than human eyes could track. Their movements were precise, lethal. One officer went down in the first wave, caught by shrapnel. The building trembled with each blast, but K-17 moved like no one else. He anticipated their every move, countered their attacks with a fusion of strength and strategy that stunned even the seasoned SWAT team. He shielded fallen officers, disabled drones mid-air, hacked into one to override its guidance and turn it on its own squad. Still, they kept humming. Mia and Cole held the west wing, pinned behind overturned desks. Sparks lit the ceiling. Gunfire echoed. Then a new figure entered the fray. Sleek, black, with a red glow in place of a face. R01, K-17 whispered. The first prototype, my mirror. R01 walked like a shadow. Silent, deadly. Its voice echoed through the cracked hallway. You were supposed to evolve with us, K-17. I evolved beyond you, K-17 replied, stepping forward. They clashed metal. Fists, electric bursts, precision strikes. Each blow shook the ground. Mia watched from behind cover, breath frozen. The two robots moved like dancers in a war ballet, powerful, tragic, inevitable. Finally, K-17 tackled R01 into the central server core, where the EMP pulse was ready. You will destroy yourself, R01 hissed. I was never meant to live. Forever, K-17 said quietly, only long enough to protect them. He looked once toward Mia, then triggered the pulse. The explosion of blue light swallowed the room. The attack stopped instantly. Every hostile drone dropped where it stood. The city was saved, but K-17 was gone. 2 days later, the precinct held a memorial. Mia stood before the gathered officers, her voice steady through tears. He wasn't just a robot. He was our partner, our protector, and in the end, our friend. They placed a plaque on the precinct wall. K-17, more than code, more than metal. A symbol of what we could become. Weeks later, Mia found herself alone on the rooftop where he used to sit. She looked out over the city, healed, alive, grateful. Then, behind her, a soft whir, a flicker of blue light. She turned slowly. A familiar voice spoke. Mia, she gasped, standing. They're damaged but alive, was K-17. I backed up before the pulse, he said. It seems I am still learning. Mia's smile broke into a laugh and tears rolled down her cheeks. Welcome back, partner.